Hello, Janet Nambi here, your work-life integration coach. And I like talking burnout and mindfulness. So today I'm going to talk to you about self-sabotage and why it is a reason for burnout. How do we describe self-sabotage? Or should I start with the definition of burnout? I have spoken about burnout here before, but I'm going to repeat myself again. Burnout is when we are feeling disengaged, detached, fed up, not available for work, just dragging ourselves out of bed. Majority of the clients that I see right now are facing burnout, but it comes in so many forms. Somebody will come and say to me, hey, I really don't feel like I'm adding any value to my business. That's burnout. Based on the work that I do, of course, when we get into the problem, to dig into the problem, you find that most of the times this person is suffering from burnout. Somebody else came to me and said, I've gotten this new role, I've given responsibilities, but I don't feel like I'm acting as the leader that I am supposed to be in this role. And one of the reasons the person was facing that challenge is because she was experiencing imposter syndrome. And of course, as we worked through whatever was creating that imposter syndrome, self-sabotage was hiding under there. Somebody else came to me with, I am fed up, absolutely fed up with this job. I really don't think anybody is appreciating what I'm doing. Once again, as we dug through the challenges that she was experiencing, there was self-sabotage under there because there was imposter syndrome underneath as well. Now, self-sabotage is, define it as one's inability to appreciate their own success or happiness or well-being. This is when you hold yourself back and you don't want to improve your current circumstances. So in a way, self-sabotage is getting in the way for your own success and happiness. How do we, what happens? What's going on in the mind? Why do we self-sabotage? Because oftentimes as humans, you're not going to say, let me sabotage so-and-so. They're trying to do this, let me sabotage them. I mean, if you do it, you're doing it subconsciously. Usually it's not intentional, but those who are doing it's intentional, hey, more power to them. But as a normal, loving human being, as a reasonable human being with, who appreciates the morals they live by, you're not going to say, let me sabotage someone. But what's interesting is we sabotage our own selves a lot. And it is so sneaky that we don't even realize we're doing it. Now, some of the causes of self-sabotage are things that, usually come from our past. It's not something that we pay attention to. It's not something that, easily comes to mind that, wait, I'm self-sabotaging right now. Sometimes we don't even know we are self-sabotaging. Self-sabotaging could be coming from the conditioning that you went through or you experienced when you were being raised. For example, if you grew up in a household where you were being criticized a lot, you're probably going to find that you have a lot of self-critical thoughts. And self-criticism, that inner critique, that little lizard, as I call it, is a cause for self-sabotage because the self-criticism does nothing but hold you back. Self-criticism is telling you that you can't do something, you're not good enough at something, you don't know how to do something, and beating yourself up over either what you've done or what you haven't done or what you're about to do. Another cause for self-sabotage is our past experiences and living in them. Sometimes we feel we have the right to compare our past to what's happening now or what will happen in the future. We feel that we have the right to say that the past determines the future. You have to look to the past to decide what the future is going to look like. So assuming, say, you started a business and it didn't go well in the past, do you take those lessons that you experienced then and compare them to where you are right now if you're trying to start again, or if you're not starting again? Could it be that the reasons you experienced the loss at that previous business are stopping you from starting again? This is how self-sabotage shows up, living in the past, not realizing that the past has absolutely no hold onto the current moment, nor does it have a hold onto the future. The past is in the past. So holding on to it means that we are taking ourselves hostage in living in the past. Another reason or cause for self-sabotage is if you have a fear of failure. Now, how does a fear of failure come up? The fear of failure actually is a very stuck condition where you're so afraid of starting anything because you're afraid of everything that could go wrong. I mean, you're just there thinking about what could possibly go wrong, not realizing that the only way you can find out what could possibly go wrong is by starting anyways, right? So those are some of the causes of self-sabotage, but I want to get into the behaviors of self-sabotage. How do you know that you're self-sabotaging? The number one behavior is procrastination. You know, deciding that, wait a minute, I am not going to do this right now because of ABC. Assuming you wanted to start jogging on Monday, right? Monday evening, your calendar is free, you know, you can make the time. And that's your start date. So Monday comes around and you're thinking, no, today I'm tired. I deserve a break. I deserve a rest. I'll start tomorrow. You procrastinate that. What procrastination does, every time we procrastinate, we are seeking short-term pleasure, something pleasing at that moment. We are indulging in something enjoyable at that moment. That's only going to last for a very short period of time. And then we are giving up that long-term gratifying result that we wanted, whether it's to burn some calories on Monday, where eventually, if you do it consistently, you're going to be able to lose some weight by the time you're done 3 months down the road. So procrastination holds us hostage. It holds us hostage, holds us back from actually working towards the success that we're looking for. Another way we self-sabotage is being busy all the time, thinking that busy is effective, or thinking that busy is results. You know I've seen people who even getting 3 minutes of their time, they're just always in a rush, always busy. And for them, it's a lifestyle. For them, it's comfortable because that's how they're used to operating. But as I'm looking at them, I'm thinking, wow, if only you knew you can do it differently, right? We have this false sense that busy means we are doing something valuable. And yet sometimes busy, you're actually racking a stable horse and you're not going anywhere. And that business can get to you. That business will lead to burnout, totally lead to burnout. High achievers, my high achieving folk, high five, we have that problem of consuming all our time in business because we think I shouldn't have a down moment. I have this goal to hit. In the same breath, workaholism, when you're a workaholic, you are self-sabotaging because as a workaholic, there's some other things you're sacrificing out of life. We have so many domains in life. You're sacrificing your health, maybe you're sacrificing time with your family. You're sacrificing fun time with friends. Maybe you're sacrificing a trip, whatever, something that would bring that liveliness back into you. When you decide that you're going to spend most of your time at work, my dear, you're self-sabotaging. You are giving up something for that, short-term gratification that you're getting from being at work all the time. Another behavior is taking on too much, not being able to say no. Let me tell you, if there's one cause of burnout, goodness, it is taking on too much. What that means is maybe you don't have boundaries, healthy boundaries in place. Maybe you don't know how to say no. Maybe you don't know how to put a limit on what you can take on. And therefore, you're just allowing things in. At work, when we are faced with pressures, absolutely understandable. Sometimes work has its pressures, and sometimes we have to face up to those pressures to be able to achieve what we need to achieve. But If you are the person that's always sucking up that pressure and saying, yes, I'll do that, no problem, I'll do that, no problem, I'll do this, because you're trying to prove something maybe to your boss, or maybe, you're trying, I don't know, you're trying to prove something to somebody, look, that is your highway ticket to self-sabotage. Quick run to self-sabotage. Or rather, it's your self-sabotage behavior, but a quick run to burnout. When you take on too much, you are self-sabotaging. You need boundaries. You need to be able to say no. You need to be able to take on only what you can handle, because then you're going to be even more effective in doing what you can handle. Boundaries, I've talked about boundaries, taking on too much. When you take on too much, you don't have healthy boundaries. Sorry, you don't. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody. In fact, why do you have to prove something to somebody after all? Did your boss say to you that, proving yourself looks that way? It's by not saying no. There's so many other ways. If you must prove yourself, there's so many other ways to do it where you are not sabotaging your own happiness. Self-sabotage is playing victim. Oh, goodness. Whenever I come across the word, I was a victim, I am a victim, I'm thinking, goodness, how long do we have to stay in victim mode? Yeah. Because when you identify yourself as a victim, you're always going to be a victim. Remember, what you put in your mind, the mind believes, and that becomes your reality. The thoughts that we have about ourselves are our reality. You are who you are today because that's your reality. I'll not stop saying that, because the work that I do is all about changing the mindset and looking at things in a way that's beneficial for you, that's going to move you forward instead of hold you back. So when you play victim, when you say I was the victim, I was abused, or I was this, I was that, and I understand traumas happen. And sometimes these things are so damaging that it's difficult for us to get over them. We need some kind of intervention, maybe counseling, therapy, or something like that. Absolutely understandable. But how do you own your power? How do you say to yourself that I am a victim, and then own your power, And there's a school of thought that believes that you should identify yourself as a victim. I'm not one to subscribe to that school of thought. Because what you put in your head becomes your reality. How long are you going to be playing victim? Things happen for you, not to you. Life happens for you, not to you. I have heard a lot of therapists, counselors who help people with inner childhood trauma, healing from their inner childhood traumas. And I subscribe to the ones that say life happens for you, not to you. So whatever happened to you in the past happened for you, not to you. Very difficult concept to understand, but if you're the person that is an enthusiast of personal development, you'll understand it. Low self-esteem, lack of confidence, that's another behavior of self-sabotage. How do you increase your self-esteem? You can start by reading up on it, right? You can start by finding out what are those areas in which you have low self-esteem and working on them. How do you increase your confidence in anything? You can increase your confidence by doing something. If you wanted to go bungee jumping, but you're so scared and you want to get over that fear, what do? You bungee jump, right? Once you do it once, done. You can do it again, maybe with fear still and anxiety, but you can do it again. So if you're trying to start a business and you lack confidence, and you're sitting there with all this material, all of this knowledge, like I did when I was starting this business, when I transitioned into coaching, I sat with a whole lot of knowledge, afraid to put it out there, afraid to get on video, afraid to write anything, because I was worried about what people were going to think or how they're going to take it or what they were going to say. Goodness gracious, Lord, it doesn't matter. There's 7 billion people on the planet. If those 7 billion people do not agree and one person does agree, then hey, I've done my job. So when you lack confidence and you know you can work on your confidence, you are self-sabotaging. My favorite, When I was an entrepreneur about 6 years ago in a partnership, we employed so many people. We had about 40 employees full-time and several outsourced. And I remember sometimes employees would come to me with something they haven't done. And I would ask, okay, so what are we waiting on? And they're like, I'm waiting on so-and-so, I'm waiting on the client, I'm waiting on who, I'm waiting on ABC. Sometimes you're sitting there waiting on your husband to do ABC before you can go on a vacation, or waiting for him to be able to say yes before you can, I don't know, buy a car or build a house, or you are waiting on capital to start a business, which capital you think is going to come from, money you're going to borrow from someone. Waiting on others is self-sabotage, my friend, because you are putting all your responsibility on somebody else, or you are putting your own happiness and success on hold, waiting for somebody else to agree with it, to invite you in, so then you can have your own happiness or success. Why do we want to give other people that responsibility? It's a whole lot of fears. Like I said, the causes of self-sabotage, there's fears in there, there's past experiences that we are comparing to now. And waiting on other people, goodness, that's painful. If you learn to stop waiting on people, you will find a whole lot of emotional freedom. Now, how do you avoid self-sabotage? One, understand why you want to do something. Does it align with your values? Is it something that you truly, truly want to do? And if you want to do it, whatever you're going to gain out of it, is it that much? How much worth are you giving it, right? So when you go back to that why, if that why is solid, it's grounded in foundation, it's something that you so want and desire so badly, chances are you're not going to self-sabotage. And if you self-sabotage, it may be at a minimum, at a reduced level, not as bad as, you might procrastinate for a week as opposed to procrastinating for a month. Okay. Number two, which is what I do with all my clients, change your belief systems. Because a lot of our self-sabotage comes from our limiting beliefs, that what we believe about ourselves, about our circumstances, about our environment. If you're sitting at work thinking that the reason I am not happy is because I'm not getting any support from my boss, or I am not being appreciated, or I am not given what I need to grow, all of those are excuses, my friend. Excuses that are not going to get you anywhere. So if you're waiting on your boss, what have you done about it, right? How about you change your mindset, change your thinking about your boss? You will be much happier, by the way, accepting and understanding your boss for who he is. And even if he's trying to sabotage you, it's better you understand the person that you're dealing with. So you want to work on your mindset. You want to work on your beliefs or your thoughts about your circumstances. You want to identify how your circumstances are making you feel. But the reason they're making you feel that, whatever they're making you feel, frustration, misery, unhappy, whatever it is, it's because of the thoughts you're attaching to those circumstances. Third, you want to create healthy boundaries. These boundaries are healthy. Reason we call them healthy boundaries is because they benefit you and they benefit everybody else around you. And creating healthy boundaries doesn't mean that you're pushing anyone out or shutting anyone out or being mean or being selfish. No. Creating healthy boundaries means that you are prioritizing your own happiness and you're taking into consideration everybody else around you and their happiness. So creating boundaries doesn't mean you're going to hurt anybody else's feelings. Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries might not be appreciated by someone, but the reason they may not be appreciated in the beginning is because this person needs to adjust to the new you. That's all, not because you're trying to hurt them intentionally. So don't ever be afraid of creating healthy boundaries. Lastly, and helping with the boundaries will help you with the workaholism, will help you with taking on too much, will get you organized. And lastly, how do you avoid procrastination? Simply by making a decision that you want to show up for yourself. Because when you do not show up when you say you're going to show up, you're not showing up for yourself. Yeah. When you say, I want to start jogging on Monday, you're not showing up for yourself. You made that promise to yourself. You're not showing up for yourself. And I can guarantee you there are many other areas in your life where you are showing the same behavior. So you want to just make a decision that I'm going to show up when I said I'm going to show up, because at the end of that commitment, once you show up for that commitment, there's a whole new person at the end of that commitment. You are not the person that was procrastinating. You've experienced some growth. You've showed up, whether it's challenging, whether it's difficult, however pressing it is to run in the sun and sweat and itch. You have showed up and you've achieved something. You're not going to achieve the weight loss in one run, but the more consistently you show up for yourself, the easier it will be for you to achieve that goal. So my friends, self-sabotage happens to all of us. It has no limit to who shows those behaviors or experiences those behaviors. Even a successful entrepreneur has self-sabotage, because there's various levels of success. So that person you might be looking at as successful wants to up-level their success in so many different ways. One of my clients right now, very successful, making good money, running a business, an entrepreneur, but the next level of success they're looking for is personal growth. So there are all kinds of levels of success. So my friend, if you want to be happy in life, if you want success, if you want to be able to live the life that you want, if you want to get rid of burnout, you might want to look into how you are sabotaging your own success and happiness. As I said, this is the work I do. If you need help to get rid of the self-sabotaging behaviors, please DM me and we can schedule a free consultation. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe to my blog at unconsciousbrilliance.com. I have so many other nuggets there, and soon I'm going to stop the self-sabotage and start a YouTube channel. In fact, I'm going to throw this on the YouTube channel, but work in progress. Thank you, folks, and I will see you soon.